It is the Worst of the Riot podcast at RadioU. No Hudson today.
Oh, we have to say the date. Doesn't he always say the date?
Yeah, what's today? October 25th?
Tuesday, October 25th. We had to look.
I know. We don't even know. I should have done Hudson's little voice, too. It is the Worst of the Riot podcast. He always sounds so mysterious when he enters it in. It's like he's saying something he doesn't really know.
We missed him today, but he'll be back on Thursday. So you get our Worst of Riot podcast for today.
Yeah, and one of the things we talked about today was an ongoing thing that's been going on here at RadioU for a while, and that's a mystery in the break room of why people leave out food that should not be left out overnight and then go on to eat it the next day.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know if Nene ever... It's Nene. I mean, why are we hiding it?
Yeah,
There's only
everybody
so many
knows.
of us here.
We know.
So you'll find out what he has left in the break room overnight. We look up how long that should actually be left out. And one day we're going to have to get into his mind. Because I was talking to Michael, our boss, when he got in, because we were in the break room. And he goes, I think he just walks away and forgets it.
Yeah,
so
and the next day he's like, oh, look at this. It's like a little surprise for it's like when you leave $1 in your pants and then you put your pants back on. You're like, what'd you looky? Or
looky.
I can't wait to see today. I'm gonna monitor it. I'm gonna see if he eats it
when he gets in.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna check it like every couple of hours and be like, did he eat it for lunch today? I want to know if he's gonna eat it or if he's gonna throw it away or what he's gonna do with it. Because for me, this is an automatic no.
Well, just a reminder: stop leaving the food out. Just put it in the fridge.
Yeah, put it in the fridge. And so we also talked about some Halloween stuff. Mm-hmm. We talked about pumpkin patches.
Yeah,
not exactly what you think they are.
There's drama. People are feeling lied to about something that this season is becoming more of a revelation if you're a pumpkin patch person.
You just can't get away with things like you used to be able to because everybody can take a video of you.
Yep.
And so before it would have just been like a rumor, but now there's like video proof. And so when you see the video, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
You know that there's something that's been a lie. Something's afoot at the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, we talked about, too, how I might be getting myself a pumpkin today, painting it. And I don't like, when you paint a pumpkin, like, do you, like, pick a design? How do you go about it?
Well, people sometimes paint them like a jack-o'-lantern sort of look.
Oh, like with a smile?
Yeah, so what you can do is you can actually print out stencils for the pumpkin. So you just paint inside the stencil part.
That might be a better way for me.
That way you don't have to worry about it.
Stencil will probably turn out a little bit better than if I tried to freehand like a cat or a dog or something. If I tried to draw Jim on there.
I can't see that going well.
It's probably not going to go well. We also did some more Halloween stuff. We talked about what do we think Hudson's costume is going to be for this upcoming Halloween?
We're taking your guesses.
Yeah, so we want you guys to text in because we want to see if someone can get it right.
I feel it's like a gambling thing.
It really is. Who can guess the costume right? There's no prize. We're going to go ahead and get that surface now. If you guess it right, you don't get anything but except for good prize.
Is that called like it's on the books or something?
Yes, we'll get it on the books now. So when he comes out and whatever his costume is, you can't be like, oh, I knew he was going to wear that or wear something like that.
To guess. I want someone to get it right on. So if you know or if you want, you don't know. But unless you're Hudson's family and you can tell us, then maybe you do know. But if you want to guess, you're welcome to text or just say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U. We hope you enjoy the podcast today.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
How are you going to end it? Are you going to make a face at the camera?
Yeah, let me change the camera to me.
On our video podcast?
I'm going to do my best Hudson impersonation of the end of the podcast. Okay. See you guys.
Bye.
It's the Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
So, as I walked into the kitchen this morning, we've talked about this before, about like how long you can leave things out, if it's like a regular food that should be refrigerated and whatnot. And there's a certain person that works at RadioU.
Just say it.
Who is Nene.
It's Nene.
Who loves, for whatever reason, he loves leaving his food out on like the kitchen table in there. And it's almost like 90% of the time, either McDonald's or it's pizza.
It's Little Caesars.
It's Little Caesars pizza. And I would gladly eat leftovers. I love eating leftover pizza. But when it's left out like that, I just can't do it. Like left out overnight, I can't do it.
It's also confusing because he'll leave it on the break room table, which usually means it's for anybody who wants to enjoy. But that's like cookies and crackers.
Different.
This is something that I thought you're supposed to refrigerate pizza. And so then normally someone will just leave like a little note like, hey, there's pizza in the fridge. You can have it. So I don't know if does he want it and he just did not put it away? or is it for someone to have? But then also it's been out like since his time yesterday.
And maybe that's his way of like making sure no one eats it. He's like, well, I'm the only one that'll eat it if I leave it out here, so I guess I'll leave it out in the middle of the kitchen.
Isn't it bad by now?
It has to be bad,
Do we
right?
have some time?
I don't know, because last night he definitely got it for like midday lunch dinner last night. And so probably like 4 o'clock. It's early in the morning now. It's gone through a whole night of being out. And so I don't know when the cutoff is of exactly when you can eat pizza still when it's been sitting out.
I've looked it up. You ready?
Yes.
The United States Department of Agriculture, which I don't know why, the ones they advise you do not leave cooked food out. So pizza, which has been cooked, sit at room temperature for more than 2 hours before throwing it away.
So it's definitely bad then.
Well, I mean, I'm sure like you're not going to you're not going to
get
die.
sick.
You're not going to probably sick, but like it's saying just 2 hours, and that's many hours ago.
Oh, that was like 12 hours ago for sure. That was, at least 10 hours ago.
But
That's the whole
Nene,
night.
why do you leave it out?
I know, but there's so much room too. I looked in the fridge to see. I looked in the fridge and I was like, I wonder if it's just full. I get it's full in here. Because the other thing is, it's not like we haven't stuck full pizza boxes in there before. I do that all the time. I'll stick a full pizza box in our fridge. I do it like once a week. If I get like Domino's or something and then I have leftovers, I'll just bring the whole box in. I'll stick it in the fridge. There's plenty of room for his Little Caesars box. Just put it in the fridge.
And he doesn't, it's not just Little Caesars. He does it with
I know, it's any pizza. McDonald's will do it with McDonald's, any other food.
Do you want people to eat the food? And if you do, are you just trolling everybody? Like, here, you can have this, but it's bad.
But it's bad.
Like, what are you doing
You can't actually have it.
I don't know. I thought the same thing when I walked in. I thought, I'm not eating the pizza, and I don't even know if it's supposed to be eaten.
I know. I don't know if it's supposed to be eaten either, but I always get really excited when I walk in there. I'm like, oh, pizza. And then I open it up and I'm like, cold
pizza left out.
I'm like, this isn't the same as what I thought it was going to be.
It's the Detroit style, and there's like 2 pieces.
Oh, it's the deep dish, too. It makes it even more tasty.
It hurts when you do this.
Islander.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Nikki, there's many things that I think of when I think of McDonald's.
What do you think of?
Mainly like a McDouble. That's my go-to.
Your free fry with the app.
My free large fry on Fridays. My free fry every other day. Right now they have a 29-cent deal if you get a quarter pounder and a 10-piece chicken nuggets. All my favorite things. I ate there last night.
You did?
I love McDonald's. I eat there way too much.
Okay, but look, when next time you go, I feel like you go more than I do.
Yeah.
Look for the orange pumpkin thing. The boo bucket.
Yes, I saw it last night. They had it on the menu. But I didn't pull the trigger on it.
They keep having the ghost ones, and I want the pumpkin one.
The pumpkin one,
yes.
They had it on the menu, but I didn't, unfortunately, ask for the
Well, now you have to.
Bucket.
You can ask for the bucket. You can pay for it without the food, and I'll pay you back.
Okay, that sounds good. I can do that. I go to McDonald's enough that if I go through the drive-thru, they'll be like, oh, you just want this?
I don't want the green bucket.
You spend enough money here, we might as well just give it to you.
I don't want the white one. You go inside, and you ask for the pumpkin
I'll
one.
be like, give me that orange bucket, all right? I'm not leaving here without it. Well, one of the other things I think of, which this has been like my go-to since I've been a little kid, is McDonald's has some really good soft drinks.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're well known for like their Coke and their Sprite. And
were you allowed to have Sprite when you were younger?
When I was younger, I was, but it was like a special thing. We were like definitely like, my house didn't have really a lot of pop at it. We never really had pop. But when we went out, that was when I could get like a pop.
Because it's clear?
Yeah. Sprite was the go-to.
You're like, I can have that.
Now, Mountain Dew, that was a little bit much. But Sprite a little more low-key. A little more low-key. But in Australia, McDonald's is officially getting rid of Sprite.
Well, do you see what they're actually doing?
Yeah, they're switching it out.
And maybe they thought people wouldn't notice.
And when you think about it, though, I feel like you definitely would notice. They have, like, one of the most, like, potent Sprites of all time. There's no way, like, it's, like, one of the most flavorful Sprites that, like, burns your nostrils when you drink it.
That could be only in the U.S.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe in Australia, it's not quite as crazy.
So they have replaced the Sprite with Sprite Zero Sugar. Not telling anybody, but just, it's a little switcheroo. And when asked, McDonald's has said that they don't plan probably on bringing back the regular one at all.
Which I like Sprite Zero. Like, I've, like, over the past, like, year or so, I've tried it. I like it. It's pretty good. But, like, it's not the same as the McDonald's Sprite. My question is, when you're going through the drive-thru there, if you order a Sprite, Are they saying like, oh, we only have Sprite Zero? Or are they
No,
just
I
like
think they just give
giving
that
it to you? Then that is just preposterous. That's terrible.
That's what people are mad about. They say McDonald's Australia has moved to Sprite Zero Sugar, and they look forward, though, to hearing customer feedback on the new beverage option.
Yeah, you for sure have to tell them it's Sprite Zero, because if you said like, oh, it's Sprite Zero, I would say, okay, then give me a Coke. I don't want the Sprite Zero.
And then guess what they're going to give you?
They're going to be Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
They're going to be like, oh, this is Diet Coke. I'm like, that's not the same. It's not the same. Because if I'm getting a pop at a restaurant, then I don't want it to be diet. There's no way.
You don't want it?
If I'm ordering one, I would just order a water usually. But if I'm getting a pop, then I want the sugar. I want the whole thing.
Stop calling it a pop.
A pop. If I order a soda,
there it is.
See, I don't really say that. But the McDonald's Sprite, definitely, it's my go-to. If I'm going to get a soft drink, it's going to be a Sprite at McDonald's.
Well, no rumors yet for the United States McDonald's.
It
and
would
they
be
did
insane.
say it was Sprite Zero, like if you're ordering on the app. So it would show there.
It would show on there.
It's not like they were lying on
It's
the
not
app.
like a picture of like regular Sprite, and in the corner it's like zero.
It was just if you would go through an order and not specifically ask or know, then people were wondering why the Sprite tasted so off, and that's because they've switched.
That's why I wonder in Australia if the uproar, obviously they have like an article about it and whatnot. I wonder if it's like the same level, because I feel like if they did that in the U.S. with like Coke or Sprite, people would be really upset.
Yeah, people are upset about everything.
Yeah, that's
so
true. They'll get
add
over
it
it
to
no
the
matter what.
list.
Give them a month, they'll be fine.
You wouldn't have even noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
This is The Riot. Radio U.
Officially counting down the days away from Halloween here at Radio U. And one of the big question marks, what's everybody going to be? Getting your costumes ready.
What are you going to dress up as?
See, I think I'm going as Scooby-Doo.
You are?
I am.
But I thought you did Scooby-Doo already.
I did Scooby-Doo when I was little, but I haven't done it since I've been an adult. Like most adults, that wouldn't be your go-to costume. For me, it is my go-to.
Scooby-Doo. Are you buying the costume or are you going to
Already had
DIY it?
Already had it.
From when you were a kid?
Since it's been like a long time costume in my family.
Are you fitting in it?
And it still fits. It's just like it's always kind of fits. It's just one of those things. It fits.
It's universal?
Yeah, like we've had it since I was like I think in like middle school or so. And so it's just one of those costumes that I know I'll fit inside of.
Okay.
I hope at least.
Well, Hudson mentioned yesterday, before his 2 days off, he's off today and tomorrow, that he has his costume picked out.
Yeah, I know he said that.
But he's not saying what it is.
But he wanted to be a surprise.
So the question is, what do we think Hudson's going to go in as?
And he gave me a hint. I forget what the hint was. I asked him if he had like changed his appearance or something. And I think he said no. But now I'm thinking like in my mind, what could he possibly dress up as where he wouldn't have to like switch it up too much? So I assume he's going as someone that he thinks looks like himself. and he loves doing the celebrity comps. And you know who I think it is?
Who?
I think he's going as Loki.
No.
Yes, he is.
He's not.
He just said yesterday that he thinks he looks like Tom Hiddleston.
No, I've never heard him. No, he always pushes other people that he thinks he looks at.
You think so?
Yeah, he's not doing Loki.
Okay, how about this one then? What about Joe Dirt? With his long hair?
Okay, actually.
He could totally pull that off.
Because he always wears flannels, too.
He always wears a flannel. He could totally pull that off. Especially before when his hair was really long. I wish he would have done it then, but now his hair's still kind of.
We just have to throw some dirt at him.
Just a little bit,
rough
just make
him
it
up
a little dirtier.
Oh my gosh, that's a fantastic
See,
one.
that's the one that I think that he could just, because he already has like the beard going, he could totally shave in that like weird Joe Dirt beard, and it would just make my entire Halloween.
Well, I think you should, when he comes back on Thursday,
I'll throw that at him.
we need to let him know that that's he can change his costume.
You can always switch up. He hasn't even said what it is yet, so I don't have high expectations because last year he told me like he went as like Charlie Brown, but he just wore the Charlie Brown shirt, and so I'm like that doesn't really count.
Yeah, it does.
No,
that
it does not. It does not
He's
count.
fine.
It does not count.
Because let me tell you, my costume on Monday might not
Yeah, what's your costume?
I'm not saying it yet, but let me tell
so
you,
you have something planned.
it's not involved.
Okay, we're bringing the cat ears back. It's all right. You can wear the same thing 2 years in a row. It's okay.
No problem. You be Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the cat.
And yeah, it makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Well, if anybody has any guesses for Hudson's costume, he's such like he's so into like old time things, like old movies, old, I don't know, like just old stuff.
Old sayings.
I thought he'd be like an old character.
Oh, that would
like
make
maybe
sense.
from an old movie.
Like a Western or something weird.
I don't know. He'll come in, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Surprise us.
It sounds like because he gave himself plenty of notice, I have a little bit higher of expectations because he said he had a costume. And so he wouldn't have said that a week prior if he was going to wait to the last second and just wear a t-shirt. And so I'm assuming that this year is going to be a little bit more amped up. At least that's what I'm hoping a little bit.
Well, we'll find out on Monday. But until then, I would love someone to guess. And then if someone gets it,
that'd be grand.
If you actually guess what his costume is correctly, that'd be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
So if you text at 877-2 Radio, you think Hudson. He already said he's not doing, because he dresses like Aaron Rodgers every day. Or just some sort of sports guy. He's not doing anything with sports, he said.
Yeah, that would be too easy.
So I would take that out of the running. But if anybody has any other guesses, I'll save those. So Monday, we'll see who guesses correct.
We'll circle back and see if anybody got it right.
That's right. But I'll put you down for Joe Dirt.
Yeah, put me down for Joe Dirt, all right?
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I'm excited.
I thought you'd be when the trailer came out.
My brother had texted me yesterday, and he was like, hey, if you haven't seen the Ant-Man trailer yet, you need to go watch it because it's really good. And I was like, he's always hyping stuff up like that. I never really can trust anything he says. He's
brother.
He's a big Marvel nerd. I like Marvel, but he's a big-time Marvel nerd, so he's always more excited than the typical person. I watched the trailer, and it looks so good. It looks like the best one I've seen in a while.
Based on a lot of people's comments from yesterday, because it started trending, it felt like now that finally feels like movies are back with something big. So, I think it's just been a while for everybody to get excited about something.
Yeah, because it's felt like so far, with the whatever series we're on now with Marvel, when the Infinity War and those ones ended, they were trying to start kind of a new chapter, and it wasn't really starting. They kept on making movies, and they weren't really building on to anything. But this feels like the first movie where it can really start to build off of it, which is real exciting.
You're excited. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania will be February 17th. And that's the third Ant-Man movie. Did you like the other two?
I like Ant-Man. I think he's funny. I like Paul Rudd. The first one I thought was okay. I thought it was solid. The second one I thought was better than the first one was. But overall, his movies are just all right. I wouldn't I'm not fiending to go watch them again before this one because I've already seen them. But if you haven't seen them, then you probably should go see them before this.
And when you watch this, at the end of the trailer, there's Bill Murray for just a brief moment. And to hear Isaiah try to explain who Bill Murray is, you're like, he was in Space Jam.
He was in Space Jam.
That's all you had.
Nikki wouldn't help me. She was like, I was like, I don't know who it is.
I couldn't tell if you meant the original Space Jam or what.
The original one.
And I hadn't seen the full trailer yet, so I didn't catch his little cameo in it.
It was literally 5 seconds of Bill Murray, and I was like, is that Bill Murray? But in my mind, I didn't know who it was.
You had no idea.
I could not do it. I was like, he was in a Space Jam. He was in Osmosis Jones. She was like, those were the two movies you could come up with for Bill Murray?
Because I think Bill Murray probably thinks he's a more accomplished actor.
Clearly not in my eyes.
With a wider catalog of work.
But I did recognize him right away. I was like, he's important. I know he's important, but I just don't know how.
I think he picked his two not important stuff.
Yeah, it was just two movies that nobody cared about.
So Bill Murray, people are excited to see him a part of it too.
Yeah, he fits into the comedic side of the Ant-Man little aura. So are you a fan of Ant-Man?
I've not seen it yet. I've never watched any of the Ant-Man stuff.
Never seen the Ant-Man?
I've seen clips.
Yeah, fair.
I've never watched any of the full movies.
I feel like that's one of the Marvel characters, the people if you're gonna skip out on a couple of movies, you're probably gonna skip out on the Ant-Man movies.
Well, when it first was presented to me to go see it, I was like, I can't. It's a tiny man. I can't.
What do you mean?
I had a real hard time with the storyline of it.
It's Paul Rudd though. Everybody loves Paul Rudd.
I like him, but I don't love him.
Oh,
so
okay.
to me, it wasn't a draw. I don't just have to go see every Paul Rudd movie.
Fair, that's fair. Yeah, overall, I would say they were okay. They were for standalone Marvel movies. They were just all right. They probably
people
would be
like them.
Yeah, they're okay. The first one was yet again. The first one was okay. The second one was better than the first one. But this third one, this looks like a good one.
If not, at least the trailer looks good.
The trailer looks sick. If this doesn't turn out to be a good movie, I have never been hoodwinked like this before.
Well, text your brother back and tell him that you're excited about it. That again, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. For the trailer, people are excited. That's going to be out on February 17th.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
2 and 3 singles currently prefer a man or woman that has a goofier side?
Then say like a boring.
Like a boring, maybe even like a middle of the road funny person. I feel like a goofy side's even different than like being like generally funny. If you're like goofy, that means like you're a little bit extra quirky, you know?
So do you count yourself as goofy then?
I would say that I'm definitely on the goofier side.
Or are you more calmer during dating?
I don't know. I think, no, it just depends.
Maybe I shouldn't ask you.
Yeah, you
Maybe I
shouldn't.
should ask the people you're dating.
See, I think that I have a goofier side once like I feel more comfortable, you know?
Sure.
Nobody like just comes out right away. At least you shouldn't come out right out of the gate with a totally goofy side. But you should definitely showcase a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
Off the rip. But
I think if you have humor, maybe they're just saying be more comfortable with it early on, because it could actually be to your benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
Compared to like if you're normally been told in the past, like, oh, you're so goofy, hide it. At
No
least
way.
a few dates in, you should maybe be showing that.
Yeah, because I think like personality's better. Because if you're like super dry, like especially like it's talking about a lot of this is talking about like when you're like crafting like a first message on a dating app or something like that. Like if you aren't like don't seem fun, they're not gonna respond.
Yeah, they won't want to go see you.
Yeah, like if you don't feel like, and that's like the other thing that's funny about like dating apps is like your first message, like you're like selling yourself, right? Trying to like tell them like, I swear I'm fun and entertaining. And if you don't like craft the perfect message, it says like you're like 55% of people get like super stressed about it.
Aww.
Because like you just don't get a response off
Do you
the
copy
rip.
and paste your message?
Oh, for sure.
You do?
You use the
I
same
knew
one over
it.
and over.
I knew it.
You have to, because like there's no way, there's times depending on like what like dating app you're using that's gonna give you like a different prompt or something that you can like comment on. So then you can be a little bit more unique. But if you don't have anything to comment on,
Then you're not
it's just
gonna
the
have it.
same one that you sent to like 10 people before that already failed.
They say that trying to impress someone during your first interaction is the hardest. So if you're single and you're anxious, that's most people at 50%. Being very shy comes in at 48%. And some are excited, 39%, with trying to impress during your first interaction.
Yeah, and it's funny too because there's such a difference between like meeting like in person versus like if you're meeting on a dating app. Because I think if you're meeting on a dating app, the first message isn't as important as you think. Because if they generally find you attractive, as long as you're not offensive,
You think
you're
that's
probably
enough?
going to get a match back. Or
But
you're
they
probably
were-
going to get a match back.
But they were saying that eventually, though, funny actually can be more attractive
yeah.
than your actual look to somebody.
Yeah, I think so. As long as you can like just kind of sprinkle in your personality a little bit throughout. But as usual, I think that your first message, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just send it.
Just have a
Whatever it
good
is, just
time.
send it out there. And you don't have to craft it something super like unique or crafty. But if you can showcase your personality or humor a little bit, that's for sure going to be better.
Well, they say just don't ever do anything political. Outside of that, it's fair and
Shocker.
open. And if you want to run your response to someone by Isaiah first, he could just do a quick one through. And
Yeah, I'll just look through it and I'll
edit
give you bad
anything.
advice.
No,
That way you
sometimes
guys know.
Those that are single still have the best advice.
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
know?
I've sent a million messages that have been ignored, so I can tell you how to not send those ones.
Actually, that's great. Send them your one, and then they'll
Yes.
just edit that.
That way you just can craft that up a little bit. Okay, I was going to send that, but I'm not going to send exactly that. Maybe I'll change it up a little bit.
I love that they get ignored.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen Christian.
Thanks for watching the worst of the riot. Since you made it this far, you might as well like, subscribe, and check out riot.radiou.com for even more riot.